Hey everybody, it's Josh from CollectionDX.com here with another review. This time it's the Super Mini-Pla Golion, otherwise known as Voltron. There's a few different releases of this set. This release is the Japanese set, meaning that it comes in several different boxes. With the Japanese set, you get 5 of these boxes inside of a larger box. Each one is numbered. For example, you can see number 2 here. So each one is numbered to which line is inside, and you build them all that way. The US release is branded Voltron, of course. There were 2 versions of the US release. There was the normal version, in which it's just one box with all the stuff inside it. And then there's the San Diego Comic-Con version, which is the same, but it comes with a limited edition blazing sword. So this release does not have the blazing sword. So, Mini-Pla, what is it? Well, they're model kits. The plastic is a little better than normal model kit plastic. There's stickers that you add on, and they're largely molded in color. And the idea of this kit is to give you a transformation and an appearance that is more like its anime counterpart. So in this instance, you're going to have to do a lot of part swapping. You have different size heads. You have caps to replace the legs. All kinds of different things that make this a little different, and as such there are some weird liberties taken with the design. I also want to let you know that this review comes courtesy of HobbyLink Japan. Whenever there's a new Super Mini-Pla kit, you can always find it for pre-order up on HobbyLink Japan. This one's been out for a while, so they might not have it in stock anymore, but you should definitely check those guys out. So we're going to start with the Black Lion. Putting these together takes about half an hour to 45 minutes depending on your skill level. I recommend that you have a pair of tweezer type nippers to cut these off the sprues, but you get a pretty good toy like experience when you're done. I mean, obviously it is a model kit, so there's no metal, the plastic's a little lighter, but the engineering is really good, and I actually found it really interesting to kind of see how a toy is made, because essentially it's a toy that you're just putting together. It's meant to be handled, it's meant to be posed. In lion mode, you have a working jaw, so you can see that there. And you do have good articulation. You have a really solid neck joint, which obviously is very thin, but again, we're making a toy that has to go into 2 modes here. You have really firm joints that have a good range of motion. You have several different movable places on that. You have a tail that's movable. I mean, overall it looks pretty good. Each line also comes with its own parts to weaponry, basically. So in this case you have the mouth blade, and you have these 2 cannons on the shoulders. Now later on, what they did is they made a design that you could combine all of the weapons into an additional weapon for Golion when he's formed. So you can see we have the red lion here. This becomes one of the arms. Substantially smaller lion than the first one, but he comes with the parts to make the sword, and also has some more variant parts. Again, ball joints on the shoulder, we call them the shoulders, the hips. Good tight joints. Tail will move. You have what you call a waist joint, and the head rotates, that, and the jaw opens. So the weapons plug in with a little peg in the mouth, and you have this little gray weapon here. So what we're going to do with all these lions is we're going to prep them for transformation. Now I guess you could, in theory, keep... Yeah, you really can't. It's really not made for that. Alright, so you got to do a lot here. You got to pop out every leg. And the head and the tail. They give you a bigger head. Goes on. And then you have these caps. And each cap is sort of this small. They have a little indent that basically shows you how it's supposed to go on to its corresponding part, and they're also done in such a way that you can't put them on the wrong like front and back, because for example these have 2 tabs on them. Alright, red line is ready for battle. The number 3 line, the green line, is basically the same thing. This one comes with the parts to make the shield. And again, he's got weaponry on the sides and a weapon in the mouth. And same articulation as before. You gotta do the same things as you did before. Take all these pieces off. Take the legs off. And the tail. And the head. You notice too that there's an extra joint here once it's assembled. That will end up giving the arm much more flexibility. So the blue lion becomes one of the legs. He has 2 weapons on the shoulders and a mouth weapon. But there's a real interest. I don't know if you call it interesting, but the design choice here is really strange. And let me take off some of these parts to get into. I think he looks kind of not great in lion mode, just how slender this area is. And there's this jutting piece under here, which, I mean, I know it's there, I know its function, but still it's just a bit weird. So in this case, you collapse the tail, pop off the legs. Just be careful you don't pop off the whole foot section. And you also take off the head. And you get a new head, which is larger. And now you can see what the whole point of that pointy bit. And again, you just pop these caps on. I think there's 2 different sizes there. I think there are. So you just pop them on like so. I mean, and basically you get a lion foot, a yellow lion. Again, comes with its own weapons, but nothing else for the larger combination because it doesn't need it. Same weird. It's more glaring in this one because there's no yellow that comes through this section. Not a fan, but I think it'll look better in Voltron or Golion form combined. Again, and here's just an idea of you can see the size difference between the kind of lion appropriate versus foot appropriate. So there's a fair amount of that kind of swapping around that needs to be done. And also keep in mind that this section can come out a little bit to give you some foot movement. Something I wanted to point out too is that each lion has its own type of silver cap. So you can see there's no slots here, slots there. I think that's a nice touch aesthetically, but also you could be screwed if you just throw them into a bag and forget which ones are which. So I have each lion in individual bags just for safekeeping. Now it's a Voltron forming time. If you've had any Voltron ever, it's pretty much instinctual at this point. There will be no surprises here. You can watch though. In this case, these don't. There's really no place for them to go. If you want to just take them off, you could maybe do that. I'll have to actually look at the instructions and see what to do. Yeah, the instructions actually have you just remove those parts of the legs. Pretty basic Voltron stuff. I would maybe just get rid of this tail too. You can really, you can pop it out if you want, or you can make it so it goes this way and up. Your call. So we have the lions. Now remember when we took the tails off, it left those holes. That just becomes the shoulder. And I know I'm doing this. I didn't do feet and legs first. Sorry. My bad. There's a little area you just sort of click in like that for the leg. And there we go. We have formed Voltron. He looks pretty cool. And he feels like a toy for the most part. So a few things to note. One, that these caps don't give you a lot of room to come together. But the articulation is really nice. Look at that. That's a great thing there. But it has these, wow, that's really tight. Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's cool. All right, check this out. So there's actually a drop down joint in the waist there. Didn't even figure that out while assembling it. And you have the same thing in the feet where you can kind of pull this whole section out. You can rotate the feet, rotate the head. So you can do quite a bit. I mean, look at that. Oh, look at that fall off. I mean, that's a large range of motion. And the same thing here. You can get almost a full crunch on the arms. You have a waist and does that. Yeah, so that the base figure is a lot of fun and very posable. I think this was definitely made sort of as a reaction to the Solo Chogokin, which they just weren't able to do some of the things they wanted to, considering the materials and people's quest for accuracy and things like that. Well, it's kind of fun. So let's look at some accessories now. We have the blazing sword that we talked about. There's a peg on the handle, so you can just peg that right in there. And you have the blazing shield, which has two pegs on the outside and the inside, so you can either have it like this, or you can have it like that. And I think that's always, it's been a weak point of a lot of Voltron / Golion toys, is the holding of the shield. I like how this one is sort of see-through in the middle. So this thing is called the Mega Blaster, and it's basically just a way for them to take all the leftover weapons from each line and combine it into a new weapon. Really kind of phenomenal engineering that is kind of ridiculous and interesting at the same time. It's just really, really cool. I mean, it's a bit ridiculous and it's not canon to the series, but I kind of don't care. I like it. I think it's fun. Right, so this has been the Super Mini-Pla Golion, aka Voltron, by Bandai. A set run you about $55-$60 or so. It's so fun to build these things and to put all the stickers on and trim off the flash to have this really, and then there's a bonus to have this really well engineered thing at the end. If you want to detail or paint it, you can. I didn't feel the need to, and I just kind of enjoy it in its current form. It is really good for my skill level. Hopefully it's good for yours too. Once again, this guy is available through HobbyLink Japan, as well as many others in the Super Mini-Pla line. I hope you enjoyed this review. This has been Josh from CollectionDX.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks.